Hey guys, welcome to Masterclasses. I'm Tom, this is Carol, and we are here live at Hillsong Conference 2018. And we like to party. Right, this is a lot of tech going on here. I'm seeing a lot of screens. What do you do, first of all?
This is where the director sits, and we've got access to 12 cameras in total. I've got a plan of the camera here. So this is what the auditorium looks like, so you can kind of see visually here. This is our camera 10, who is on the program right now. But from a bird's eye view, this is what the auditorium looks like, and these are the camera placements around the auditorium. This is our stage design. We've got main stage and B stage, and obviously we've positioned our cameras to allow enough coverage for either A or B stage.
This is one of our tracking cameras. The idea is it can be up high, it can be at stage height, it can be moving around side to side, and it gives you some of these incredible shots that you see kind of flowing over the crowd. So not a full crane boom arm, but something that's moving. You see all the people, and you almost get this parallax effect as this camera's moving in and out of the crowd, back and forward towards the stage. Pretty much you'll have someone here tracking, you'll have someone on the other side watching the track as well, and they're pushing up and down. We have a few controls, which is going to push our operator up.
Wow.
So you can see he's going up nice and slowly. It'll go quite high. Now both operators are on comms, so they're hearing what the director's actually asking for. So they can push right up high, and then we can bring them down. It is a complete volunteer team who's operating this. I think the only professional contractor we actually have operating a camera is actually the guy who's doing our wireless camera, who's running around on stage with a camera. But every other operator of the 12 cameras we have here in this room are all volunteers. So you come into a conference every single year, and there's no guarantee that every single operator has operated that specific camera before, or even operated a camera in this environment.
All right, Tim, talk to us about the main camera platform.
Okay, so we've got 3 cameras here. I guess the main cameras we're going to talk to you quickly about is our 2 main cameras. So here we've got our camera 12, and right next to it is camera 3. Camera 3 is actually our main camera, so it's the camera you're going to see most of the time. It's going to be what we call the MCU shot, medium close-up, so it's going to be getting roughly around the waist to just above the top of the head. So if a preacher is preaching, it's going to be the main one you see on the director's cut. Now I say director's cut specifically because it actually is not necessarily the cut you see in the room. This camera next to it is camera 12. Now this is going to pretty much give you the same shot again, but this camera is going to be more for the room itself. So we do a couple of different cuts here. One is primarily for records, for TV channel, for all those kind of things. And then we actually have a couple of cameras, specifically 2 cameras right now, which are dedicated for a director who's directing for what we see in the room itself. And this is that main camera here.
What's happening here? There's a lot of screens, a lot of buttons.
Yep, so I'll give you a brief overview of what I can. So basically here you're seeing D3. So D3 is what we're, I guess, controlling a lot of our output. If you actually look here, they're testing images now. So it's not on the screens, but they're actually previewing it. So they'll be able to see a live 3D preview of what, like opening videos, basically any scene look. So it's all pre-prepared in videos. They'll line it all up in D3 and trigger it. A lot of it's triggered by timecode here. And we're actually using a MA2 lighting console to control D3. We have about 2 or 3 different operators throughout the entire conference, and they just swap out. So this is kind of a cross between, when I say MA2, it's a lighting console, but it's not used as a lighting console, it's more of a command console here for a video command system. And what you see here, this is actually Resolume on a laptop. So we do use Resolume for little bits and pieces. It's actually for, we use it for, I guess, screen media when it's not time-coded. We'll definitely run some stuff from Resolume. Here you'll have E2. So E2 is actually what's, I guess, preparing looks and stuff on the screen. So I guess they're building scenes, they're building looks. So whether we want a look for praise and worship, whether we want to look for this session or something like that, they will be the one actually pulling the look and putting it on screens, even though the content might actually be coming from D3. They're just generating the look and, I guess, the layout of how it'll look on the screen itself. And then obviously here's all the racks. You see all the brains of E2, D3, all that's kind of in here. All the power. But this is the racks that power all these desks you see behind you.
Wow.
And that's kind of a very, very simple, brief overview of what happens up here. But it's really cool. It is really cool.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the time.
No problem.
D3 is basically a feed that comes from our E2 operators that are sitting in the room, and these are the videos that are getting rolled for the screens, but you can notice that the screens are a different size than usual, but this feed gives me a 16:9 version, basically, of that video that I can then cut to my program if I need to. And we have another operator sitting next here that is called the E2 Assist. So the E2 Assist works with the E2 operator that is sitting in the room, and the E2 operator will call for any specific shots they want. For example, we want a close-up of this person, so then the E2 Assist will receive the camera, the director's feed, and then will cue those shots for the E2 to then cut on the screens.
Carol.
We are here in the editing suite where the magic happens.
It's absolutely true. You know what, Carol? The magic does happen here. If you notice, it's a little bit dark because our editors can't handle sunlight. That's an unknown fact. But you, my friend, on BTS are getting the behind-the-scenes gossip.
We've got 36 edit suites this year. And so one of my roles is also just looking after all the edit suites, so setting up, packing down. So we ingest about 35 terabytes worth of data.
35 tera.
Yeah, 35 tera. And then all of our computers upstairs at our Resolume and iMag front of house desks, which is where D3 and E2 are. And basically those media servers are all connected to the same server, and people can pull content back and forth from it.
I made this little like template thing. I'll try and pull up what it actually looks like on top of that. So I've got this screen template which shows me what how it all relates to the actual screen. And so basically when I put stuff in here, I've made these pre-compositions. So when I go back a couple, you can see where it actually ends up landing on this composition here, this final composition. And actually when they put it into the screen in the foyer, it'll end up looking like this. So I put content in here, and then it ends up in that shape that I showed you.
If you look right there, we actually have a stage set up with the host, John and Helen Burns, interviewing an interviewee inside the tent. We actually have the control studio, that the producer's sitting down there. We have 3 cameras set up there. The first, a close, a mid, and a wide shot, as well as a crane that can swoop in for the intros, the openers, and just to cut away when you want to have some cover-up shots.
Fica com a gente e não esqueça de subscribe no nosso channel.